this one for my channel, or do you want to do this one for your channel?
Do you want to start with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So I would quite like, because I do a show called the Guitar Hour.
Okay.
And normally we do live interviews with people, so we'll do live streams, but seeing as I've got you here, we might as well do an interview and then I can run it live on the show.
Okay.
Sorry with you.
Yeah.
So what I thought I'd do is the usual thing, ask you about your playing career, but also ask you about the YouTube thing, because that's why we're here.
Okay.
I want to ask you about the guitar as well.
Okay.
Is this actually the Pete Thorn signature board?
Yeah. So it's basically we came up with a guitar. I wanted something that was a hybrid of obviously, the 25 and a half Strat style, guitar, combined with obviously an aesthetic of almost like a 57 gold top.
That's one of my favorite things in the whole world, that gold top look. It's so cool.
Yeah, and it was like, so we did actually a black one first, black top.
Oh.
And scrape binding, and then mahogany back, mahogany neck, rosewood board. It's all like basically Les Paul style woods.
Yeah.
But essentially we did the black one with the red back first, the scrape binding. I love that guitar, it was amazing. And then it was like, how can we now? It's going to be a signature model that was decided. It's like, how can we make it a little bit more distinctive? Decided to do pickup rings, which is a simple thing, but it's not something that Sir has ever done.
And it's more in line with that kind of LP style kind of aesthetic as well.
Yeah. And so, truth be told, I had to kind of talk them into it, and then they saw it and went, well, that does look pretty cool.
Okay. So has John done that on anything else now?
Sorry?
Has John done that on anything else? Now he's seen the idea and it works?
I don't think
is it just
have.
on yours? It's exclusive to the Pete Thorn signature model?
So far.
Cool.
So it's a simple thing, but it just gives it a little bit of a distinctive look. And the thing that I find the challenge is us as guitar players. You're playing a guitar with a radical look there right now.
I literally just grabbed this off the wall. So.
Yeah. And he's burning on it, by the way. Which is like, why are you so good? But you can pick up any guitar and sound great. But so they're being bold, and I admire that. They're taking a bold, artistic kind of move with this guitar.
Yeah, definitely.
And that can be tough for some guitar players.
Yeah.
I admire that they're doing it. The angle that I took with this guitar was, how can we make something that is relatively fresh and new and cool looking, and yet there's a throwback element to it.
So I'm intrigued as to, because that's kind of the hybrid element of it in terms of mahogany body, and then you've got the dual humbucker, you've got the mahogany neck as well, on this shape of guitar.
Right.
For you, does the shape, because obviously you've got the double cut S style thing here, it's a hybrid of those two things.
Yeah.
Why not go for just a classic kind of single cut shape? Does it affect the sound of the guitar for you? Or is this a kind of ease of playing kind of thing with the double cutaway? What's the thought process behind the two things being combined?
Well, I guess I grew up on a Strat style guitar. My first
sounds good.
Yeah, and it's like, so I got used to this and the height of the strings off the body.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
is a big thing to me. The height of a Gibson style bridge, the Tune-O-Matic, is like that, whereas on a Fender guitar it's like that. And so that, like, oh, how do I palm you? And and that was a difficult thing for me to get used to at first when I started playing like Les Pauls and guitars like that. Now I eventually grew accustomed to it, but no word of a lie, when I started using those guitars, I actually would end up with a bleeding arm.
Oh yeah, you cut the blood supply off your arm, the fingers go numb and stuff, and it's just like, it's a nightmare.
Yeah,
when I play acoustic.
It ran me into the edge, and I'd look down and I was bleeding on the guitar.
It's pretty rock and roll though.
It was kind of rock and roll. My tech's coming out with a towel, and I'm like, dude, you're above your this is well beyond what you got hired to do.
Yeah, sure.
But honestly, that happened, and then I eventually got used to it. I learned how to play a Gibson style guitar. The neck is also angled back further from the body, so you get this kind of thing going. And then it's just a different thing. So this is what I can play them now, and I'm very comfortable. I love playing Les Pauls and stuff like that. But this is home.
I get that completely. The comfort.
But the tone, it's like when you're playing rock and roll, it's like sometimes you need humbuckers, you just do. So how do you do that all into a hybrid guitar and kind of make it work? Well, it's never going to be all this guitar is basically Les Paul woods. Yeah. But it's never going to sound all the way that way with a bolt-on neck and with a 25.5 scale.
Exactly, yeah.
Scale, I'll tell you a funny story.
Floating bridge and all sorts of things,
floating bridge, exactly. I met Billy Gibbons once in the grocery store.
Really?
Yeah, Trader
Wow.
Joe's. Yeah, he was in line at Trader Joe's in LA, and I was behind him. I was like, I gotta talk to him. I've never met Billy Gibbons, and I saw ZZ Top in the '80s. I was always a big fan. I loved So I told him that, like, excuse me, sir. I don't mean to bother you, but I'm such a fan, and you're amazing. And he said, are you a player, son? And I said, yes, I am, sir.
Nice.
And he said, asked me the most interesting question. He said, "Are you a Fender scale player or a Gibson scale player?" I thought that was like, not like, do you like Fender guitars or Gibson? Which scale length do you prefer? In line at Trader Joe's.
Yes, nice.
Yeah, so I actually had precursor to this guitar, way back, like 10 years ago, I think I got a Sir that had the same woods, it's telly shaped, T-shaped guitar, but I had it all specced out with the basically Les Paul woods and stuff like that. And I said, and I told Billy, I said it still sounds basically like a Fender style. There's a snap. It's just a snap to it that if I played the same thing on a Les Paul right now with the same woods, it ain't gonna sound like that. And you're right, it's the bridge, it's the bolt-on neck, but I really think it's scale length a lot. Like for example, a Fender Jaguar, that guitar doesn't sound like any other Fender guitar.
And I think that's the comfort thing for me, because when you pick the guitar, I mean, you know what Les Paul's going to sound like, but for me, I feel really uncomfortable on those guitars.
Do you? Yeah.
So it must be a combination of the scale length, the body shape, the woods, everything. Because I don't play mahogany guitars at all, really. But when I play a Strat, that's what I expect to hear. That kind of snap and the punch of the and the dynamic range and single coils as well, because I play HSS. So even this to me freaks me out when I've got two humbuckers. It's amazing how you get to a certain point where you've got so much comfort in the guitars that you play. Even little things can throw you out quite a bit.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, I can play most guitars, but that comfort thing is just... No, I don't mean it that way.
I do.
When you kind of pick up a guitar, obviously you can play it, like Andy Wood is the ultimate guy for you can just plug into anything and sound amazing, but some guitars, that comfort thing is not there, and a Strat for me, when you plug into it, 3 single coils or humbucker single, it's just like, that's the holy grail for me, it's so perfect. So you do get that, and that's why I was kind of interested in this, because it's that hybrid thing of both things. So you've taken the things that you love the most, and combined them, but it still has that very kind of S-style vibe to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the ultimate neck pickup tone for a 25.5 is obviously that Hendrix Strat thing, and I can get pretty close. I one of the custom things we did on this guitar, which isn't a big deal, but all the way up position is this pickup tapped.
Okay, so that's just default hardwired. You can hear it. See, this guitar, when you're up here, the fatness, I love it for jazz, but I want that. That's what it turns me, it's like, oh man, that's the best sound in the world. When you can dig in and you can play the Hendrixy kind of double stops and stuff. It's just the ultimate thing. So, so is there a way of getting the humbucker?
So it's just the next position is. Still, one thing that we definitely designed, and I hope you guys are getting this too, because we're doing this kind of lo-fi right now.
It's hard to,
little amps at low volume, but that was kind of, everybody's filming videos in here and it's crazy right now. So it's like, we found a quiet space.
Yes, exactly.
And a Vox lent us this nice little modeling amp.
And we have to say thanks to Thoman as well.
Actually they come from Tolman. That's how you say it.
Tolman.
Their little box modeling. They sound cool. It's the first time we've ever used them.
They're great.
But anyway, it's so you've got that versatility there with it, and it's not exactly. I shot a video yesterday with the guys from that pedal show.
Yes.
And we had a Strat and kind of compared the split coil tone to the real single coil. The real single coil it's hotter, first of all, because this is a PAF strength pickup. I mean, it's a 7.3 K and full.
And did John custom weld this for this guitar? Is that like a Pete Thorn?
Yeah, it's
Thorn bucker.
Thorn buckers.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Genuinely, I had no idea. So there we go.
You nailed it.
There we go.
That's exactly what they are.
That's awesome.
And so this is the plus model in the bridge. We make 2 bridge strength. This is about an 8.7 K.
Which is still pretty low output for a bridge humbucker,
It is, And then we make an 8.3. So it's like, it's only a little bit hotter, but it's just, for somebody who wants a real traditional PF or a little bit hotter than they actually made them most of the time. So, so that's this, but this guy's at 7.3. It's pretty low, almost like that kind of T-top strength. But that's why when it's, in this, even with some overdrive, you can still, that's the full, that's the humbucking series. So you still got clarity.
It's still got that air in the sound.
Yeah, with these pickups I wanted to have, and I really wanted to be able to get I always use this riff. I really wanted to be able to get that level of twang out of the middle position. So the goal was, when you're hitting this position with the 2 or the full-on bridge mode, you don't gotta go back to your amp and change all the dials, because it's like, well, the bridge is all woolly, but the neck is, the neck is all woolly and the bridge is too bright. Some pickup sets, they just never.
So what did you do with position 2 then?
Position 2 is
that split, is it?
Yeah.
So it's really simple. There's no coil taps to pull, there's no buttons to press. You've got 5-point position switch on a 2-humbucker design. You've got all the classic tones.
All those tones, essentially, except there is one pull switch.
Oh, there is? There has to be, really, doesn't it?
It's the Andy Wood. Yeah, it's the Andy Wood thing, really. I mean, it's Andy isn't the guy that invented it, but he was the first one at Sur, I think, that had him do it. So he's got to get the credit. They called it the
redneck mod.
Redneck mod. That's right. And so it's in that series. It kind of sounds like a telly almost.
It's impressive enough that you persuaded him to do pickup rings, but Andy persuaded him to do a 24-fret telly, which is just like,
right.
How are you guys achieving this? It's crazy, but anyway, it's a beautiful guitar. So this model you can actually order from John now. This is it's a signature model. It's a staple part of the range, and people can order them from him direct.
Yeah, I think they got orders for about 40 or 50 of them at NAMM this past year, which was great. I was like, that's terrific.
For a boutique guitar company, for a signature model, that's amazing.
Yeah, so they're out there, they're being made, and I've seen them on the line, coming off all the paint. So they're making them and they're out there. I've heard people say they have trouble finding them, but it's just, it's a custom guitar, and Sur's they're not like a massive cranking them out, it's a custom. So they're taking a little bit of time to get out there, but they should be out there in the stores now. I know, like in the States, like Humbucker has a couple on order, and different stores they have them coming in. So they're getting out there.
I mean, it's awesome because it's not like this would be cool as well, but you haven't put Pete Thorn across the neck, or like, it's as you say, it's unique for Sur. So if somebody wants like that combination of a hybrid kind of guitar, it will appeal anyway. So
I think so.
It should do really, really well. It sounds like it is anyway. And it's a go-to 510, I presume. Everything else is very similar to the rest of the range.
Yep, standard 510. It's not like there's this guitar is just a something that is a, like I said, like a true hybrid of all this different stuff, that we came up with, where I was trying to do something that wasn't, it's not like it's like Andy's is actually a 24 fret Kelly.
Completely,
It's completely a very, this is I don't know, I grew up with like the, looking at the Pence's Sur guitars in the 80s.
Me too,
Mark Knopfler, with that beautiful, so that was kind of in the back of my mind with it's just that classic thing. I don't know, I like classic stuff.
Oh, I get it completely,
Sometimes I still play vintage guitars. I've got a few, I've got an old 335, I've got, a 64 Strat and 66 Kelly. I love those guitars, like they're just,
Well, we've seen them in the videos, and they, you use them a lot, and they sound absolutely fantastic. The rest of us wish we could afford them because they're so nice, but they're so expensive.
I can't really afford it, but I've got a certain job, and the rest of the bills are paid, and it's like, okay, there's been a few times in my life where it's been actually the 335 I got for a steal, so it was that's like less than a new 335. Like when I got it, I have to get that. I can't not get that. But yeah, these are things that I've always, Stevie Ray Vaughan or whatever, growing up, you see an old Strat or whatever, and it's like, God, I really want an old Strat. And then there was one point where it was like, I'd worked my ass off. I'd been on the road for 6 months, and it was like I was making pretty good money, and it was like, I can do this right now. It might not be the smartest, it probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. I should have bought a house at that point.
But 6 months later, who cares? No, you've got the guitar and you've spent the money, and it's like, you just have the guitar, and that's all you care about at that point.
Yeah.
I remember being in the old Rudy's in New York in 2004, my first trip to New York, and my first credit card. And I was so tempted to buy an old 335. I can't remember what year it was, and I played it. And it's Rudy's, so it's like, for me, coming from the UK, it was a magical kind of experience going to New York for the first time at Rudy's, and my head was in that space. The restraint I had to kind of engage in order to not buy this guitar on this credit card. And now I am glad I didn't, because I wouldn't have wanted to be in the debt, but man, this guitar was incredible.
Wow. And so what was it? Is it 335?
It was an old 335. It was actually a weird kind of thing. It was like a walnut 335.
Oh, so maybe.
So it wasn't super vintage, but it was, for me, it was like, I I'd owned a 175 at that point, which was a brand new 175, didn't get on with it, and 335s were like in my headspace at that time. In Rudy's as well, so it was like, I'm thinking, man, I've got to buy this guitar, but in the end I didn't because it was a credit card. So at some point in my life I will buy a vintage guitar, but at this point I haven't owned any. But
there's something romantic about buying a guitar like that in a place like Rudy's.
In a big way.
Yeah, like I did the same thing at Grimm's. That's where I got my Strat Grimm's, and it's like, wow, this is cool. Like, and I played a whole bunch of. I got to compare it against like a 61 and a 60, like all these different guitars, and it's as you get later in the 60s, it's a little less dough. So this was a 64, and it was like, okay, I can afford this. Does it hold its own against all these others? And here we were, like I was on tour in a band, doing good, traveling through town, trying a bunch of vintage Strats. And I was like, this is what it's all. This is what I like. What am I waiting? That's the other thing about buying a guitar like that. It's like I've arrived in a way. It's like I feel like this is the moment. Like this is the moment in my life where it's like it's kind of romantic. It's like you traveling to Rudy's. It's like, oh, I'm here.
That's the thing. I mean, that shop is legendary status.
Yeah.
If you've not been to Rudy's, check out the new place in New York. It's absolutely like the shop's beautiful anyway.
In Soho, right?
It's in Soho, yeah.
Yeah, gorgeous.
And you walk in, and it's just this stunning. Have you been to the new one? You must have done.
I have, yeah.
And you walk in, it's like a museum.
Yeah.
And he's arranged it beautifully, and man, just don't take your wallet with you. It's just
Or do.
See if you can.
I'm the devil.
My wallet would be useless in that shop, so I don't have enough cash to buy guitars like that, but still, I mean, it would be amazing. At some point it will happen. But when I do, I'm going to go to Rudy's and do it because the experience is so good. And the guys are great in there as well. So, but as far as other signature gear goes, why is there not like a Pete Thorn drive pedal yet, Because you are like the demo guy. Oh, okay.
I might be working on something. I thought about it, but it's, I've got a lot of, I don't want to seem like, I know what you were going to say. You were going to say, I'm the demo guy and I demo a million pedals and stuff, but it's like...
You would have thought someone would have approached you at this point, but maybe they have from the sounds of it.
Yeah, it's something that I've been talking about with people. I just sort of want to stagger it because I don't want to seem like like all these products and that it's like...
Yeah.
It's what I'm saying? So it's like... I just thought like, am I going to just seem like I'm like the guy with a million...
It's like the Pete Thorn merch train.
Just
lots of things with Pete Thorn written on,
I love the idea, because maybe not a lot of people know, but I've got a background in retail. I worked in music stores for a long time.
I didn't know that, okay.
That's like growing up when I was a kid, when I was 16, I got a job working in a music shop, and I taught lessons there and stuff too, but I also sold guitars and pedals, and then, at different points in my life when, times are lean or whatever, I worked in shops and sold that stuff, like in a vintage shop once, and which I love.
Yeah.
So that's a part of where I come from, is gear and talking about gear and demonstrating gear and trying gear, and that's part of, that's part of my personality now, I guess, with the video thing and YouTube.
Just one of the things you're known for now, I guess, one of the strings to your bow.
Yeah, which is like, I kind of tried to combine all the, like playing, writing songs, and then, some sort of whatever my weird, this personality that we developed, like doing the YouTube thing.
That's it, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a thing. Yeah. So combining that with that, basically like sales experience, I suppose, like working in a shop.
Yeah.
It's like, how can I put this all into one? So that's my weird personality now.
But there's the signature amp as well, so I guess, there's the drive channel. It's a very specific thing as well, like a plexi style thing as well, isn't it?
Well, and that's the other thing about an overdrive pedal is that, it's like I use overdrives for very specific things, but my main overdrive sound is a cranked Marshall. That's the influence, it's the cranked Marshall sort of thing, really. So I was always trying to get that sound in an amplifier that was maybe a little bit more versatile than just a plexi or whatever. So that's what we did with the PT100 for sure.
Yeah.
So like, in other words, what I'm getting at is drive pedal wasn't necessarily my main. It's funny, I've been talking about this with guys around here a lot. Like a lot of younger players these days are basing their tone off a clean amplifier.
That's exactly what I do.
And a pedal, right?
Exactly what I do.
Yeah, and it's great because it's like a lot of times you got to fly to a gig, a clinic, use a rental amp, whatever, and kind of have a decent clean sound, and then get your tone out of the pedal. It's almost born out of necessity. More than anything, like you can't always have your 80-pound amplifier that you're lugging around.
Exactly.
So. But that wasn't where I actually started. I always started by having an amplifier that had a great, it was either, in the older days it was Boogies and Marshalls and whatever I had, and
they were cramped basically.
Yeah, and you had to kind of crank them. I mean, when I think about it, I had one of those. My first real good amp was like a a solid state MOSFET Marshall in the 80s.
Wow.
You know, that was basically like a JCM 800 but a solid state version called the MOSFET Lead 100 or whatever. And that amp actually sounded pretty good. It had a little 410 cabinet for it and the little head. And you can find them now for like, you know, $300-400 I think used. You know, but that's actually a pretty good little amp. It sounded good with a great drive channel. And you know, after that, I moved into I had Boogie Caliber 50 Plus, which was the short-lived EL84 model. It actually sounded really good, but heated up a lot, and the tubes would fry a lot. So then I got rid of that, and I got a studio preamp and a power amp because it was the late 80s, early 90s.
I actually did that as well, but that was when I bizarrely found an amazing deal on it when I was doing the jazz degree. And it was the least jazz amp you could ever buy. I had like a Mesa Boogie Studio preamp and one of those gold 50/50 Marshall power amps that weighed more than a small elephant. I used to lug this around to jazz gigs for some reason, but it sounded amazing. And I've still got the studio preamp and I still use it. It's noisy as hell, it's falling apart, but it's got this unique sound to it.
Pretty good sound,
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's not like mind-blowing, but it does a really good job of particular things that I really like.
Yeah, I remember it well. I mean, I had, this is almost the same thing, and I had a rack, a 12-space rack with the studio preamp and a power amp in it. That, you know, and two Mesa 212s.
I had the same thing. Bizarre, really bizarre.
I had no idea, but I had it in my apartment in LA. It's like, what am I doing?
Well, I was doing small jazz gigs with this ridiculous, completely insane, but
so funny.
I liked it. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, definitely. So it was always that, you know, and then I moved, I think I had a 5150 after that, the original block logo PV, and which had a pretty decent crunch or clean channel on it, you know, and I'd use that for, you know, cover gigs or whatever band I was in. And, and around that time was the first time I ever played a plexi. I got in a band, we got a record deal, went in to make our album, and Frank, the other guitar player in the band leader, he had a 67 plexi. And that was when I went like, oh my God.
It's my sound.
Yeah, because we were in a real studio making an album, and for the first time I heard that thing. There's kind of no substitute for that horsepower and that, you know, it's the Hendrix thing. I've been talking a lot about this too over the last couple of days here. It's like Hendrix wouldn't have been able to do what he did without the amplifier, the volume, you know, it was a part of when you watch him, you know, it all distills down now to MP3s and like we're listening through earbuds, but we got to remember back in the day that stuff was done with amps, and he was, you know, you watch him, you know, live footage of him and stuff, and he's just arm up in the air and the amps go crazy. You can't do that with, you know, in-ear monitors and the cabinets off stage and a modeling amp. I'm sorry.
There's only one way that sound is going to come out.
So that creativity, that, you know, he was definitely inspired by the tone, and a big part of it was the Strat, the fuzz, the wah through a loud ass non-master volume amp, and then you got that thing. Now the only thing I worry about, I love like what we're doing here right now. This has got a total use, and these things sound, you know, they sound great for what they are. You know, it's cool, but you're not going to be able to play that same kind of thing. So there's a place for this and there's a place for those big amps. I still think that, you know, kind of my fear is that if you don't explore the big amp thing, we've then sort of turned the guitar into about the same thing as like almost like a synth or something, where you've got, okay, I've got my sampled piano, I've got a Steinway in here, I can switch to you know, a fat analog synth, and then I can go to a Hammond sound or whatever, and it all sounds pretty damn good, but it's not going to be you know, there's still validity to those big rigs.
Absolutely. You know, you give a concert pianist some kind of Casio keyboard, and then you say he can have good samples on, then you say you can play that Steinway grand piano over there.
Right.
You know what they're going to choose every single time.
That's right. That's a great example, man.
That you have there in terms of a big amp with a master volume cranked, on stage loud. You've got the combination of the guitar, the speaker working in, you know, combination with each other. It just can't be distilled down in the same way. And I'm an Aspects user. You've used all that stuff. You've got the Universal Audio stuff as well.
I do.
And I love all that stuff. The number of times I get to play loud enough. I mean, you're doing tours, so you can have the amp on stage mic'd up. I don't know how you run that stuff, but I guess that's the way you would run it. The stuff is on stage. Is that right?
Yeah, that's still.
I mean, loud. It's not. There's not stage volume. Restrictions, but
that's a great question. I mean, the last few years, I got a gig in 2013 with Melissa Etheridge was the gig I was doing from 2010 or 11 until 2013. I had amps on stage, full rig, it was great. I tried to control the volume, and that was fine. I went the next year, in later 2013, I got a French tour with Mylène Farmer, a French pop artist. We weren't allowed to have cabinets on stage, but they let me bring my amps. So I used Torpedo Lives. And kind of modeled the back end, the speaker cabinet, microphones and stuff like that.
Were you in-ears at that point then?
In-ears, and so I had no monitor, so the only place, there was dancers on that tour, and there was a PA that was facing backwards for the dancers, like a small PA. So at sound check, I could go in and hear my guitar through that flowing line array PA.
So how did you cope with the whole thing of, you're used to trouser flapping kind of, amps behind you and stuff.
Right.
When you've got in-ears, do you have stage ambience mixed in with your in-ears, or what do you do in terms of like feeling that you're not stuck in a cardboard box with like just have you got ambience going and stuff?
Sometimes they mix in those mics and stuff, and I don't really think it's a substitute. I've struggled with this for a long time with in-ears, trying to get them to be, I've gone as far as spending like $2,500 on a set of in-ears that Sensophonics makes that have mics built in.
I've got some like that as well. They've got little mics on. They're made by a company called ACS in the UK.
Oh,
and they work really. Yeah, they're great actually. They're not cheap, but they're not that much money. But they've got they're 3 driver ones, and they've got the little mics on, and you have a little pack. Yeah, you can basically run the mics into the in-ears. So that works really, really well.
Good to know there's another company.
Yeah, there's another company that does them, and they are superb. But I wondered, because you still don't feel the air, and when an amp is that loud and you've got the air actually moving, that's part of or people say, because I never play that loud.
Yeah.
But people say that's part of the vibe that you need in order to play at your best and feel comfortable.
So if you were doing the type of gig where it was very guitar prominent, and it was something where what I mean, like for lack of a better whatever, like if it was a Hendrixy or something where you really need feet, then it would be very difficult. But in a pop situation, you're playing much more like cleaner, sort of funky parts, whatever. Occasionally there's some rock sounding stuff, but it's very defined, and there's not a lot of improvisation going on in the guitar. It's mainly about the big show and the spectacle. So it's easier to just kind of like and you just kind of get into it. Well, this is what the gig's going to be. I need to modify my thinking and the way my approach for this tour, because what's important is not me being super comfortable with the most amazing guitars.
You're there to do a job, and you need to do a good job of it regardless of the situation, I guess.
Yeah.
So you want to be as comfortable as possible, though.
Yeah. So you just shift your thinking, and that's what I did on that tour, and it was fine, And then next year after that, I started working with Kiyoshi Nagabuchi in Japan, much more of a rock gig. Full on loud stage volume. He likes it loud up there. So we had amps, no problem having. I had 2 PT100s, 212s, and definitely, I don't really like, in my advancing years, I don't really like it to be too loud, because my ears get tired.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So I try and keep it like I always think like a live band should basically balance around the drums.
Yeah.
So you listen to the drummer play, pull the amps up. If you get like a guitar tech or a friend or something at a sound check, have them play the guitar. Walk out into the first couple rows of the crowd or the club and listen.
Good advice.
What's your amp sound like? And is it about this? And then have the bass player playing. What's the guitar, bass, and drums rig sound like? If it's all balanced, kind of on stage and within the first couple rows. Around whatever volume the drummer's playing at, that's it, and then the PA just fills in around that. That's kind of how I liked it. Volume wise. And then it's not. You got some volume enough to get feedback. Like you said, you feel the pants flap a little bit, but it doesn't have to be. And I seriously think like it's almost like amps in the 20 to 30 watt range.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, depending on the style of music you play and your pickups, like how hot they are, if you need headroom, clean headroom. But let's say 20 to 40 watts. For most situations, that's a really good, if you can get the amp cooking a little bit, and it's, in the 20 to 40 watt range, that's loud enough. Unless you're playing metal and you need headroom.
Yeah, I remember speaking to Eric Gales and Josh Smith about this, and they like to play 100 watt heads really kind of, cooking, but they were saying to me it's not necessarily for the volume level, although they like to play loud, it's more for the headroom.
Yeah.
So you've got the dynamic headroom and you've got the clean headroom, and Eric is another guy who, he's got these amps that have this incredible dynamic range, and the way he plays is so dynamic and so responsive. And you can only get that out of a 100 watt head.
Yeah, and Josh, these are masters. Like we're talking, Josh and Eric are incredible, right?
Yeah.
And these are guys that know, and I'll use another example, Government Mule, Warren Haynes, you know, those guys use, I mean, Jurgen's got, the bass player, he's got, you know, a 200 watt, I believe, Marshall Major style amp for just for the drive sound, and then he's got a SVT stuff, or, you know, two heads up there, a clean one and a dirty one, basically. That's the bass rig. Warren's got a separate little bass amp, so he's got some bass on his side, and then Warren's using an SLO 100 and sometimes a Diaz amp, I think, and you know, it's cooking up there. What the two Leslie cabinets, as I remember, on stage, one on either side.
Wow!
So when the organ's kicking in, it's like that stage is just this undulating, awesome.
Yep.
But they're so dynamic that it doesn't ever come off as being obnoxiously loud because they're rolling the volume down, they're picking lighter, you know, and we're back. Hi, sorry, we ran out of memory card space.
We did.
Yeah, that happens.
Right, the other thing I wanted to talk about, just for because a lot of the guys who watch the guitar album, they want to make a living out of playing guitar, they want to kind of explore the different avenues that they've got. We get loads of guys who ask us, you know, how can I actually make a living out of guitar? And there's so many different routes that you can take now.
Sure.
Now you're really interesting because you've had very much a traditional route where you've played in bands, you've done the touring thing, so on and so forth, done some session work as well. But you also now thoroughly embraced the digital revolution, and you've got like a YouTube channel that's doing really well. You're getting up towards 100,000 subscribers. You know, you've become the benchmark. We talked about it yesterday. You've pretty much become, whether you're aware of it or not, the benchmark for product demos. You've got companies like Universal Audio. All the big pedal guys are desperate for you to demo their pedals. First of all, I guess the obvious question: what made you shift into that? Because there had to be a point where you were like, okay, I need to embrace this now. And secondly, you know, how would you suggest people sort of get into this, and what's the mindset that you need, and so on and so forth, and you know, just what do they need to do to get good at this and get into it?
Yeah, it's a weird. Well, as I was saying earlier, you know, I had this background in like retail, and I was always into gear. I mean, when I got my first guitar, it was like the first thing I did was take it apart. I was always like, you know, I was really into guitars, and you know, I even, you know, used to work on mine, like do frets and everything.
Wow, really? Wow.
Yeah, so I was always really into the gear and the instruments and stuff. So there was that like level of interest for me. And then. Talking about guitars is something I love. So there's that aspect, which kind of transfers well into this, you know, making YouTube videos or whatever. But then also playing and obviously writing songs and getting out there on stage and being in the studio and stuff I love. So how do you combine all that into one thing? And this has just kind of been a thing that is a total accident. You know, YouTube really kicked in, I guess, around 2005 or 6. That's when I got my channel. And so. You know, I'd made my living primarily doing touring. That was the main thing. I did sessions and stuff like that too, and I'd been in, I've been in a lot of bands with deals, like 5 or 6 bands that had record deals. Where it was like, you know, you make the album, you go out on the road in the van, and you try and make it happen. And after a certain number of cycles of doing that, and you know, writing so many songs and years of traveling on the road and stuff, you sort of start to go, I don't think I kind of want to go at it this way anymore. Like, And you know, coincidentally, that was around the time that the business changed anyway. And things were shifting more towards.
So there's another incentive to look for other avenues.
Like what else can I do? You know, I'm getting older. I don't really want to travel in a van. You know, and be making $500 a week anymore, basically on the road. So I was taking tours and doing the sideband thing, and started getting sort of better and better gigs. So that was a big part of what I was doing. Now I love doing that. And it's great. Disadvantages to it are going to be you're away from your family a lot, you're away from home a lot, you're out traveling, you're not out in support of your music or your record, or really, I mean, you have a career, but your career is as a sideman supporting someone else. You have to be okay with that. You know, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing, you know, but you're playing that support role.
Of course.
So when I started getting into the YouTube thing and doing the product demo thing, it was 2007. I just hooked up with Sir. And you know, I was becoming friends with those guys, and they gave me a great deal on a Badger 18 amp, like an artist price. And I thought, well, what's a way I could thank these guys, you know, for this nice thing?
I remember those videos that you did. Really. There was like a different environment. There were like steps in the background or something, and you had all the guitars lined up and stuff. I remember those really well. In the early days of the Pete Thorn YouTube revolution.
Well, it was a total happy accident. I just got a little pre-Sonus interface, you know, and a couple mics, and it was like, and I was into recording and really enjoying it at home. And so it was like, how can I thank these guys for the good deal on the amps? I thought, well, I'll make a little video, you know. I think I used the internal camera in my iMac, like one of those old, you know, white iMacs. And I just kind of turned it around and like filmed myself, you know. But the thing that I did was I recorded the amp well.
Yes.
And I was always into the audio being good, so you know I mic'd it up with like a ribbon and a 57, and
which at that time of YouTube was probably fairly unusual because the production quality was nowhere near as high as it is now, obviously. So you probably have way better audio than anybody else.
I suppose. I mean, when I did the you know how to play Eruption guitar lesson. Or whatever,
I saw that as well. Yeah.
I wanted to get the tone. And have it almost as close to the album as I could. You know, I wanted it to sound really good, and I'm not really that interested in video and in high quality. And some people do that and they do it so well. It's like that's their forte. Whereas with me, it's just like it's just not where I'm a hobbyist when it comes to the video stuff. But the audio, I want it to be really good. So so I did the Badger 18 demo, and that thing came out, and the guys at Sir were like, hey, like, we really think your video had a lot to do with like the initial success of the amp, because they sold out of the whole first run of amps they made. I
mean, for me that was the point where I became really aware of the fact that they did amplifiers as well as guitars, and they did amplifiers at that level of quality as well. So I became really interested. I didn't buy one in the end, but I became really interested in that amplifier specifically, and the fact that you could turn the power down on the amplifier. That was right, wasn't it? The Badger 18.
That's right.
You've got the control where you can turn it down, and that was quite unique at the time as well.
Sure, for scaling.
Power scaling, brain failure. So yeah, that video was quite influential on me. So I think a lot of people saw that content, whether you were thinking that people would kind of get really into your content via that. I think that was like a gateway for me. And then I subscribed to your channel immediately. And then over time, especially with the pedal demos, I don't know whether you thought about this or not, but that your way of doing it with the very highly produced song at the beginning, and then kind of the content where there's not huge amounts of talking, you have lots of playing in there. So they're not arduous to watch. They're very entertaining to watch, both from a musical and from a kind of presentation angle. And so you became sort of the benchmark for that. Did you think a lot about, we talked about it a little bit, I think you were saying that you just wanted the opening section to be very much a musical presentation as opposed to somebody just kind of dryly talking about the pedal.
Sure, and just playing, some licks, be it good licks or not so good licks or whatever, it's just licks. I wanted it to be in a musical context with some bass and drums and stuff, so you can hear what the thing actually sounds like in a song. Most of the stuff that we, when we think about, God, I love AC/DC or I love, David Gilmour, it's all in a song context. You're hearing, the Big Muff Fuzz of Gilmour or whatever, you're hearing, the cranked 100-watt plexi of Van Halen, you're hearing it within music, within a musical thing, and we all should be in this, I think. We forget sometimes maybe that it's supposed to be about songs and stuff, and about playing with other musicians or whatever, writing. So I have to give credit to David Cortez from Pigtronics and also Super Amps now. He's really having a lot of success with that. He's the one, he got me to do some demos of Pigtronics products. I was putting songs in the videos, but I wasn't putting them up front necessarily. And he said, you should put the music up front. Because it's going to pull people in. And I went, it's constructive criticism, I'll try that. And I did it, and it was the best suggestion, because this was before people were even looking at YouTube demographics. But if you look at them, they spike at the beginning and then they fall off like that, because people, they'll watch 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 2 minutes of a video, and then much of the time they're clicking off and going, even if they like it, they're just that's people's attention span.
Of course, we're all the same.
So my goal, I realized, was like, okay, I want to do something musical and entertaining, keep people engaged, and even if people click off after 45 seconds, they're going to go, I heard that pedal, I heard what it sounds like.
Plus it shows you the ultimate potential of, if you've got somebody who really knows what they're doing and they can make the pedal sound so great in a musical context, nothing will make somebody buy a pedal more. If you're just looking at it purely from, this is a little bit kind of cold, but if you're looking at it purely from the sales point of view, which is why they want you to do a demo, the musical production at the beginning is the most likely thing to make somebody buy the pedal, because they can hear it in a context where it sounds great. They can hear the potential of it in a musical environment, as opposed to somebody very dryly playing through an amp they don't own, or because pedals sound so different through different pieces of gear. The pedal doesn't necessarily have one sound. It will sound completely different through a plexi, completely different through a Fender Twin or whatever. But to hear it in a musical context, you hear the potential of the pedal in a real musical environment. And therefore you get more excited by that than somebody just playing, as you say, some random licks that
I think so.
You can't always relate to.
If you pull people in with a little bit of music, it's going to be like, they almost forget they're watching I want it to be entertaining. I don't want it to be like I'm watching a product demonstration. I want it to be like kind of fun and musical and nice to listen to, basically, or exciting to listen to, or whatever the content of the music is.
You've just made our job much harder because we have to raise ourselves to the benchmark, benchmark of because the quality is what's staggering, and there's a few guys who do this as well. Where a friend of mine, Lee Wraith, does it. To write an original piece of music at that level of quality for every single product demo that you do, it's pretty staggering, really. It's great, and you have to be fairly prolific in terms of your compositional ability. But I guess another thing is, I mean, you released the Guitar Nerd album.
Yeah.
Was it last year or the year before?
A lot longer.
Was it?
Unfortunately, it was 2011.
Okay, I'm getting really old.
That's
Time is traveling too fast.
When I put it out, I was like, I gotta do one of these every year. This is so fun. And now it's been like 6 years.
2011.
I know. I gotta get another one out.
I'll just ignore my desperation at the fact that time is traveling too fast. Yeah. So I mean, you know, writing that much music, I guess having to do it every time you have a pedal demo, you just get better and better at that compositional side of things as well. So it's beneficial in that respect.
Well, and it's a great practice for everything. Playing, for composition, for coming up with interesting tones, because that's what, you know, I'm letting the tone steer and I think it takes the heat off when you're not making an album. There's something about, you know, it's got to be professional. I want it to be good, and I want to do a good job, but I'm not making an album. So it's like, it just doesn't have to be my ultimate artistic expression. I'm making a pedal demo. Yeah. So that instantly frees you up. And then ironically, you're going to maybe come up with your best stuff when you're not, you know, when it's like, you know, you can go back and listen to it 6 months later and go, that was pretty good. Like maybe that should be a song, you know?
That's cool. I mean, you've got a catalogue of stuff that you can expand upon later. That's great.
Not every time, but allowing yourself to take the heat off, and like, I don't have to be like the greatest guitar player or like write the best song right now, but I'm just going to be free and just try and do something that sounds good to me or whatever. And that, you got to allow yourself, it's a lot of, you know, this is, I mean, I'm sitting here with you, and it's like, you know, to play guitar with you is anxiety provoking for me, you know, and for just about anybody, because you're an amazing guitar player. But there's a lot of that, we talked about it before we started rolling the camera, like, I heard a great quote on, you know, one of those Instagram inspirational pictures that somebody puts up where it said, don't allow the things that you can't do to get in the way of things that you can do.
Yeah.
Like, you know, don't be, you see all these great players these days, like, you know, you watch somebody like this man right here, and, you know, it's okay, you're you and he's him and I'm me, you know, and I'm never going to be you, and that's got to be okay, you know? So it's like giving yourself that freedom to just be the best you can be is a really important thing these days, because we're in this time where it's just like you're constantly looking at Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and you see some, you know, 10-year-old kid in Korea or something, and you're like, why bother? Look at what they're doing.
You see, it's funny because these days with the way social media works, generally people are uploading the best version of themselves all the time. So you record a video and you think, just do one more take, and then that maybe was the perfect take. Of course, that's the one you upload.
Yeah,
but in real life, people do make mistakes. They do screw up all the time because we're human beings. But of course, on Facebook and YouTube and so on and so forth, you very rarely see people screw up, especially on Instagram videos where it's like, what's Instagram, like a minute now you can upload?
Yeah.
So you have a minute of playing and nobody screws up in that minute. But what happened to like the 50 minutes of time where they were like, oh, shit, I screwed that note, so I'll do it again. You know, you see, in a way, what's really cool about that is that younger players are seeing this level of perfection that they're aiming for. So they're aiming way higher, which is great because some of them might achieve it. But you've just got to be aware that you don't want to think that that is necessarily the 100% reality of playing guitar. You don't have to be perfect all the time.
That's right. It's good to remember, like, don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun.
It's supposed to be fun, you know, and it is anxiety provoking. You know, when you see, and there's a level of ego involved and stuff too, where it's like, God, I gotta be, you know, the best. It's just like, I don't know. It is supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to be about music, and we're all individuals, and it's an art form. You know, some people are, you know, their version of art is throwing paint at the wall and doing what, and other people are, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Super fine art, you know.
Yeah. And it's all valid, you know. So for me, the Neil Young one note, you know, Cinnamon Girl solo is totally just as valid.
I'm totally bombing your video.
How dare Mick Taylor bomb the video?
It's great.
How you doing, gentlemen?
Yes,
excuse me.
good.
I agree. That's what we got going on here this week. It's like somebody said, it's like all the internet is in one place at one time. I love that.
Yeah, what's happening on YouTube right now while we're all doing this? Nothing is happening on YouTube.
There's a vacuum.
There's going to be a massive uploads, but right now nothing's happening.
Yeah. But this was a great we veered off into a direction here that's actually really important.
Yeah.
I think. It's not unlike the way that records are made. I mean, when you go in the studio, you can do multiple takes and get the best take. But it's a lot of pressure now because I feel like I'll tell you what the most when it comes to the first thing that comes out representation. That for me, it's like when you see me on the Tim and Pete show. It's like because I'm sitting down with these, and it's anxiety provoking.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Like with Tim, he's so amazing, and Tim is the ultimate sort of interpretation or expression to me of like this is a guy that's why he's Tim Pierce. It's why he's done over 1,000 albums or whatever, because he's going to come in and the first thing he plays is pretty damn awesome every time, and maybe he'll take a couple takes, but the guy nails it out of the gate every time. He's superhuman and he's Tim Pierce, Michael Thompson too, and then you see me sitting there playing, and that's when you see me on there, that's my first thing that comes out, and I'm not either of those guys, but I know I have a thing, and my thing is maybe sitting there and working on it a little bit longer. I'm not going to be that first call session guy.
Yeah.
But my thing is I like sitting there and writing songs and coming up with, I sort of almost compare, I think there's, maybe through doing the pedal demos and stuff, but my style of composition and the type of guitar player I am is maybe closer to the Edge. Sitting there and getting influenced by. I always use the example of in It Might Get Loud in that movie where he's playing the guitar part and all the effects are on it. And he turns it all off and he goes, "I'm really just doing this." And that's kind of like I love that thing about him, that he's really influenced by his tones and his sound. He's allowed that to guide him to make some of the most some of the most popular and influential music of the last 25, 30 years, right? With you too. So that's really what I've come to realize, like that's distilling this all down into be okay with being yourself. I'm okay with my little thing that I do. I don't have to be the best improviser. I want to get better at it. And being around people like Tim and Scott Anderson and all these people, it's like, I'm learning so much. But it's great. They're so amazing at doing what they do, and I can do my thing, and it's okay. It's all good.
And you'll always be the worst person at judging yourself as well. You're in an environment with those guys. Like I've had the same thing I was in North Carolina with Andy Wood and Matt Lettieri in a music shop, and it's that scenario where as soon as you three guys sit down, the cameras all come out, everybody's filming everything, and you're trying to have a jam. So. And I kind of, each of us has a particular thing that we do as well, and so you feel this pressure, like I'm the legato guy, and people are like, you think, do the thing. And in fact, I remember Daniel Steinhardt, that pedal show. I remember Dan coming up to me at NAMM, and I was sat playing on the Fibonacci booth, and he sat down and he did it as a joke, but he was like, do the thing, and like you feel a bit of pressure to kind of overperform in a way, but you play the best when you relax and you don't judge yourself too much, you're not too harsh, you enjoy the moment. And some of the best jams I've had with those guys have been where I've literally just sat down and totally relaxed and ignored everything else that's going on, just got into the musical moment. But these days it's tough because everything is recorded. Everybody records everything.
All the time.
You're sat and you think, right, I better nail everything that I do, otherwise that's going to go on YouTube and I'm going to be exposed as a hoax or something. But if you start thinking that way, you're just going to push yourself into a corner and never pick up a guitar again.
Well, and there's an element of our culture where there's almost this it's a weird gladiator kind of thing or something, where there's an element of our culture there's an element of human nature that it's a dark side where it's like there's a certain segment of people want to see other people screw up.
Weird, isn't it?
And it's like, and it makes them maybe feel better about themselves or something. I don't know what it is, but we all are human and we all make mistakes, and we got to allow ourselves that freedom. And it's a tough thing. Now I'll tell you, there's some of the biggest rock stars in the world, the classic people. I'm not even going to name names right now, but they don't want cameras at the shows. I've played with some of these people, and I've there's been times when shows have been stopped. Put the camera away. I've seen it happen where it's like, it's a difficult thing because that's a tough thing. I don't know that it's reality in this. We live in this time where people are going to go, give me a break, man. I'm in a free country. If I want to film your show, I paid for a ticket or whatever.
Exactly.
So there's the two sides of the coin. But being the public and allowing them, if they don't want, I know certain players, old school players, amazing guitar players, some of the biggest names that. They really get pissed off when people have cameras up and they're filming them at the gigs. It's just like, man, just let me, do my thing without. And I get it. I mean, I remember doing the Sir concert at their. It was the time when I played with Thorn late. 2014, I think.
The Factory.
So I started the show with four of my own. Started our set with 4 of my own tunes, and then Ian came up and played beautifully. It was so great.
Awesome.
But I played, and I remember playing, and it's not like I have a full-time band where I'm out there gigging all the time and stuff. So I've just gotten together, rehearsed a couple times with these guys, and I was just thinking like. I allowed myself that, like, dude, just chill. But it's like you're at NAMM, you're at the SIR thing. They've got cameras rolling.
It's just guitar players in the audience as well.
Yeah, it's full of guitar players, and there's about good solid 25 cameras on at least with people with their phones, and then the pros shooting. And you're like, I've never actually really played. Sitting there trying to play. My songs, and it's like I've never played this song live, and I'm going to do it in front of 25 cameras and like.
Because your first time goes, it's pretty stressful, yeah.
Yeah, you want it to be, you want to do the best job you can, but it's like we don't allow ourselves and the public almost people don't allow you the freedom to just make a mistake.
It's like that thing where the vibe you get is that if I screw up, they're never going to forgive me, and they're waiting for you to screw up. That's the way it kind of feels about it. And again, it's really hard to get over that feeling.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things these days that guitar players, especially if you do have some social media kind of presence, and people, like if they only ever see you on YouTube, so they see that kind of element of perfection.
Yeah.
And then they see you play live. It's almost like it's a trial by fire. Is the level of perfection that I see on YouTube real, or is it not? And you kind of, you sort of think, oh, I can't screw up at all. But actually, in reality, a little screw up here and there, nobody's going to notice. You are absolutely fine. As long as you don't monumentally have to stop, or like something goes horribly, horribly wrong and you really, really screw up.
Yeah.
You're absolutely fine. People will forgive you things, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of the best moments that I can remember from concerts that I've seen are moments where, how's it go? Or whatever, I just screwed it up, but the Keith Richards, he screwed up the intro to Brown Sugar because there's a capo on, he's doing the open string, 5-string tuning or whatever.
So it was just in the wrong place.
So it was a fret up.
Yeah, got you.
And so he went down and hit the capo at the wrong fret, and he's playing, and the look on his face on the Jumbotron in front of 75,000 people.
So he's huge on the screen.
Yeah, but he's like, he says it in his book. Great, Keith Richards' book is fantastic. I can't remember the name of it right now. Maybe called Life or something. Or I can't remember the name of it, but it was a great read. And one of the things he's not afraid of, he's like, so the worst thing that can happen to me on stage is to make a mistake. Whatever. It's just like, it's fine. And so I watched him make that, and it's like he just laughs or whatever. He moves the capo and starts the song over, and it was so cool. It was like better. I almost remember that moment of the concert now. This is 20 years ago, and it's like the moment of him making. That's one of the most memorable things from the show because he played it off so well, and it made the concert more human, kind of special.
Exactly.
So we should allow ourselves and others the ability to kind of. People ask me a lot of times, how do you get up on stage in front of like 100,000 people or 20,000 people or whatever? And it's like the number one thing to kind of remember too is that, especially less so on YouTube, maybe more so when you go play live, the number one thing to remember is that all those people paid to be there and they're all rooting for it. Like they're all got your back. Like they want to they want to have fun. They're there to see the show. They're all like, people in a live setting. It is different in a live setting. YouTube and television, so like watching people maybe make mistakes, it is harder on YouTube. And that kind of video, low volume on it, watching things you're listening through earbuds and stuff.
And the permanence of it as well, it's there forever.
Yeah. It's more like it's that anxiety-provoking thing, and I guess that's the medium. But it's good thing to remember is it's great to get out and play. Like, I've been, itching to start a club band in LA and just have some fun because with me it's either YouTube and I'm producing things or doing songs in my studio, or I'm going to do these gigs a lot. And a lot of the artists I've played with for the last few years, this is a real super duper quality problem, but it's a lot of big gigs.
Yeah, of course.
It's arenas, and it's like, and many times there's DVDs being filmed and all that stuff. Yeah. And there are second chances and all that stuff. And so it's like, God, can I do something that's just like playing some Led Zeppelin in a club every now and then and having a couple beers, and so I want to get back to that kind of where the pressure's off and you're playing for 10 people in a club or whatever, ironically, it's like that kind of thing is I used to do a lot more of it, like play out in LA and do like two guys with acoustic guitars playing Beatles songs or whatever. I used to do a lot of gigs like that. It's good to get out there and do that stuff.
I was going to say, the only way, if you feel anxiety when you play live, even in front of small audiences, the only way to kind of get over that is to go and do it, basically.
Yeah.
You have to put your foot down or kind of jump in at the deep end and say, okay, well, I'm going to have some anxiety for a while, but of course, that, like anything else that you do, will eventually disappear, and you'll be well, it won't disappear entirely. A little bit of anxiety is good, I think.
Yeah.
To kind of have a little bit of nerves as you go, so you don't want to be too confident, but you know, it will, like anything else that you do, you'll get used to it, you'll grow in confidence, and you know, you'll start to enjoy it more.
Yeah.
And once you've got that down and you can enjoy playing in front of people, that's when it becomes a blast, because you no longer have huge anxiety. It's kind of different when you're, you know, sat with some of your heroes or whatever, you know, and you're jamming, like you were saying on the Tim and Pete show, you know, sometimes it can be a little bit kind of frightening, but if it's your stuff, you know, you should enjoy it. So, you know, just go and do it and have the confidence to go out and play.
And the wonderful thing about those guys, like hanging out with guys like Michael Thompson or Tim Pierce or these level of players, is they're so nice. Like
Always,
players,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the best people are always the most chill. They don't, because you know, they let, like, it's like that walk softly and carry a big stick thing. Like they let the playing speak for itself. They know they're good. They don't need to have their ego stroked or whatever. Or they don't need to show off and look at me. You know, they're just like, they're comfortable. You know, as you grow older and stuff, you get more confident in yourself, more comfortable, and you just let all that stuff slip away. And so being around those people, it's just, they're very supportive.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's a wonderful thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So. Well, this is all good stuff. I mean, completely off the cuff, you know, but...
Nice positive note to end on, I guess.
I think so, yeah.
I don't want to take up all of your time, so, you know, thank you very much. It's been really, really interesting talking to you. And, I mean, have a great Guitcon. I'm sure we're going to see loads of content from you, and we want to keep seeing those amazing pedal demos and maybe another album as well.
Working on the record right now.
Good.
I want to take a couple weeks in November and just devote to, like, no anything else. All I'm going to do is just get up every day and allow myself the freedom to...
Well, that's good. That's not too far away, so we look forward to it.
I wanted it by NAMM, you know, by January, so I could have something to say, hey, I got a new record out, you know, so we'll see. I hope I can get it done by then. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, cheers, Pete. Thank you very much. And cheers, guys. See you soon.
Thanks so much, Steve.
Bye.